Hello there, very good evening. This is the weekend edition of Primetime News on TV Bond for the Newsfirst, where the people come first. I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this evening.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Tharupena discounts of up to 30% off on frames and sunglasses from Vikramarchi Opticians.
Nationwide power outage due to system issue. Electricity bill following corrections to be tabled in Parliament in January 2024, says Power and Energy Minister.
අපිත් දැක්ක දෝෂ 42ක් අපිත් ඇවලා තියෙනවා LD department එකට.
Experts in the field have not been consulted when drafting the electricity bill, CEB Engineers Union alleges. Budget 2024 was mainly cricket. Sri Lanka lost one minister, says President. Landslide in Karapitiya, 1 dead, 2 injured.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
Tharupena discounts of up to 30% off on frames and sunglasses from Vikramarchi Opticians.
On to those stories in detail. Sri Lanka experienced a nationwide power outage earlier today. We are crossing over to Mariam Gunavijaya for a comprehensive report on this.
Thank you, Martin. Now, Sri Lanka has been experiencing a nationwide power cut for the past couple of hours. And Newsfirst spoke to the Ceylon Electricity Board to figure out what the situation was. And when we spoke to the CEB, spokesperson of the CEB, that is Noel Priyantha, told us that this nationwide power outage occurred due to a system issue. Now, at about 6:45 earlier today, the CEB told us that within 2 hours, power will be restored to the entire country. However, that has not been the situation. However, authorities have been able to managing to restore power to some parts of the country. Newsfirst also got in touch with the State Minister of Power and Energy in the Kanarudda to speak on the situation in the country with regards to the prevailing power situation. And the State Minister told Newsfirst that steps are being taken to ensure that the power is restored as soon as possible. Acting Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Thenakun also took steps to ensure that security is provided by police stations across the country to ensure that security is there during these times of the power outages. Now, power for many areas in the northern parts of the Western Province have been restored. That is what authorities have been telling us. The Ceylon Electricity Board has been telling us that they have been taking steps to ensure that power is restored across the country. And for now, northern parts of the Western Province have received power once again. The CEB also confirmed to us that power has been restored to hospitals in and out of Colombo during the past few hours. However, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board told us that inconveniences have been caused due to these prevailing power outage in the country. Water supply was disrupted to some areas across the country due to the power outage. However, authorities were able to tell us that bowsers were deployed to hospitals across the country where water supply was disrupted to ensure that operations were smooth in hospitals across the country. Now, we also tried to contact authorities with regards to the transportation sector in the country to ensure that this particular power outage was not affecting the transportation sector. We were able to reach the Department of Railways that confirmed to us that so far there has been no issue with regards to train operations, with regards to railway operations across the country due to this particular power outage. And we also spoke to the Bandar Lanka International Airport in Katunayaka that also confirmed to us that operations in the airport has not been affected due to this particular power outage. Those are the latest details that we have received with regard to this particular power outage in the country that began at 5:10 p.m. this evening. That is the situation in the country. We've got responses from the CEB, from the State Ministry of Power and Energy, from the National Water Supply and Drainage Board, and authorities overlooking the transportation sector of the country. Those are the latest updates. For more updates on this situation in the country, you can always stay tuned to Newsfirst digital platforms, our YouTube channel, our Facebook channel, Instagram, Twitter, and our website, of course, www.newsfirst.lk, where we'll continue to update you on the situation in the country. You can also subscribe to the Newsfirst SMS news alerts, where we will continue to update you on the latest updates on this particular situation in the country. And to figure out how you can subscribe to the Newsfirst SMS alerts, you can check out our website. So Martin, that is the latest situation that our viewers get as of now. That is 9:07 p.m. on Saturday, the 9th of December. Stay tuned to us, and we will bring you more of the updates on this particular situation in the country. It's back to you, Martin.
Thank you, Mariam, for that comprehensive update. Moving along. Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Vijaysekara says another electricity tariff revision is due in January 2024. The minister told Parliament the gazetted electricity bill will be tabled in Parliament in January following corrections.
A heated situation arose in Parliament today over the electricity bill that consists multiple factors restructuring Sri Lanka's power and energy sector. Is this a plan to divide the Ceylon Electricity Board and other affiliated institutes? The electricity bill that was gazetted yesterday has been incorrectly dated the 5th of December. This move ensures that the time frame to challenge the bill in the Supreme Court will reduce. Multiple errors were reported in the Sinhala version of the gazetted bill as well, undermining its credibility and raising concerns about misinterpretations.
පළමුවෙන්ම කිව යුතුයි මේ විදුලි බල පනත කඩිනමින් ගේන කුමන්ත්‍රණයක් නෙවෙයි කියන එක. මේක මාස 14ක් තිස්සේ පසුගිය වසරේ 2022 ජුලි මාසයේ කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයේ අනුමැතිය පරිදි කමිටුවක් පත් කරනවා මේකට වාර්තාවක් සකස් කරන්න. ඒ කමිටුවේ පළවෙනිම කාර්යභාරය බවට පත් උනේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව නියෝජනය කරන മന്ത്രിවරුන්ගේ අදහස.
At the onset, I would like to inform bringing this electricity bill into effect is not a sudden decision. In July 2022, a committee was appointed based on the approval from the cabinet to prepare a report in this regard. The first responsibility of the committee was to obtain suggestions from the MPs. Only 12 MPs participated in that meeting. The Honourable Speaker, we also invited the former ministers who manage the power sector as stakeholders. This was also discussed with 34 trade unions on 4 occasions. The General Manager and Chairman of the CEB and the rest of the CMT team was consulted 3 times. Assistant General Managers, Additional General Managers, Directors, there are 114. We have discussed with them on 2 occasions by breaking them into 2 groups. The Secretary to the Ministry's responsibility is to direct it to Attorney General's draft office and the government printer that this needs to be issued on the 5th. Uploading it and including other matters are their responsibilities. There is nothing to panic. This was delayed for 14 months and will not cause major issues if we extend it by another month. This was not only discussed over the past 14 months but for the last 20 years. I gave my agreement to the President, the Prime Minister, the Leader of the House and the Attorney General stating that this will not be read in Parliament for the first time on the 12th or the 13th. This will be only presented in January. I would like to invite all the 225 MPs to go and challenge this because the Act is formed not for a short term but considering long term. We have also identified 42 errors and have forwarded those to the legal draftsman. The chair of this committee is the Secretary to the Ministry. There are several other representatives in this committee. These people, without charging a single penny, came forward based on my request to form this bill. If you are calling anyone before the Privileges Committee, please call me. I take responsibility of each and every matter pertaining to this bill. We will definitely present this with a revision. There are issues when uploading. There are people in trade unions who get paid without doing anything for the last 20 years. After this bill comes into play, they cannot do any of that. On the 12th, we have called for 5 MPs from the opposition to provide practical suggestions in terms of reducing the electricity tariffs. In January, we are planning on revising the tariffs. The cabinet is witness to what I'm going to say. Last Tuesday, we made a decision. Check the situation on the 31st of December and go in for a revision in January. Actually, the next date is in April. We have sent a letter. Opposition leader, you can also come and provide practical suggestions to reduce the electricity tariffs.
ඕනනම් ඔබතුමන්ලත් එන්න විදුලි බිල අඩු කිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් යෝජනා තියෙනවා නම් ප්‍රායෝගික යෝජනා තියෙනවා නම් අන්න ඒක දෙන්න.
Despite the minister's announcement, the Ceylon Electricity Board Engineers Union says that no proper consultation has been made with experts or institutions in the electricity sector while preparing this draft, which directly affects the country's economy. In a statement, the union emphasized that a proper consultation with the relevant stakeholders should take place as soon as possible regarding the contents of the new drafted electricity bill. The statement issued by the Ceylon Electricity Board Engineers Union further states that although many parties tried to discuss the draft before the approval of the cabinet, it failed due to the influence of several parties.
The Ceylon Electricity Board Technological Engineers and Superintendents Union says that there is a hidden agenda behind the introduction of the new electricity bill.
Although it looks like an act brought to solve problems, it must be clearly stated that there is a hidden agenda. The real crisis is the energy sector is due to the lack of proper electricity policy and the inefficient administration of an inefficient professional front, which has led the power and energy sector of the country into crisis to a state where they have not taken it for granted. There are still questions as to if this bill is a viable solution to the country's electricity crisis. Also, at the same time, this act has created an executive minister. The parliament should take all necessary steps to amend this act in a people-friendly manner, and we will stand by this stance as a trade union.
The Electricity Users Association expressed views on the new electricity bill during a media conference today.
මේකෙන් ජනතාවටත් අවඩක් වෙනවා වගේම වෘත්තීය සමිති සහ ඒ සේවකයන්ටත් අවඩක්.
This will affect the people and also affect the trade unions and their employees. Therefore, doing this creates a rift between customers and employees. This means that as soon as the amendment of the act comes, the majority of shares will go into LECO. Let's assume that this is given to the Adani Group, then the majority of the shares will go to the Adani Group. Consumer rights are being violated. Companies can properly exploit the customer. That's what happens. Therefore, through this bill, the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has also been made useless.
තුලින් ශ්‍රී ලංකා මහජන උපයෝගිතා කොමිසම් සභාවත් බෝඩ් ලෑල්ලක් බවට පත් කරලා තියෙනවා.
Former Minister of Power and Energy Patali Champikaranawaka says that the current crisis will not be solved by the privatization of the electricity board.
I personally do not believe that this corporation will contribute to reducing the current prices of the Ceylon Electricity Board because the Ceylon Electricity Board has this internal management problem. Political appointments are also a factor that caused the crisis. Therefore, several professional associations of the Electricity Board should be held responsible for this situation. The trade unions of the Electricity Board work arbitrarily. A prominent chairman did not allow important ministers to work when they came into power. Also, we should not forget that there are corrupt individuals involved in the electricity sector. We do not think that there will be a solution in this system without creating that accountability.
accountability එක හදන්න නැතුව ඒ වගවීම හදන්න නැතුව මේ ක්‍රමයෙන් අපි හිතන්නේ විසඳුමක් එයි.
More local stories will follow after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Tharu Pain discounts. Enjoy up to 30% off on frames and sunglasses this Christmas with Vikramarachi Opticians.
Welcome back to the news. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has expressed his vision for the future of Sri Lankan cricket, asserting that the game should thrive beyond political influences.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe attended the 150th anniversary celebrations of the Colombo Colts Cricket Club yesterday. Members of the 1996 World Cup winning team and the 2014 T20 World Cup winning team were awarded with the lifetime membership of the Colts Cricket Club. President Wickremesinghe also received lifetime membership from the club's president Nishantha Ranatunga. The president made these comments while attending the 150th anniversary of the Colombo Colts Sports Club held at the Colombo Colts ground.
Cricket has now even taken the main spot in the budget debate. This year's budget debate was mainly on cricket, not on the budget, which means the opposition had nothing to criticize the government and the budget about. So we fought it out. In the meantime, we lost one minister and we gained another minister. Now the minister is busy talking with the ICC how to restore the status quo. Let's hope all that gets resolved in a short while's time. While we were seated, Nishant asked me, if you have a vision for Sri Lanka 2048, why don't you have a vision for cricket 2048? Nishant, I have no vision for cricket 2048. I have a vision for cricket 2030. That is why in this budget we have voted 1.5 billion rupees for the development of cricket at schools level and to help the backward provinces such as North Central Province, Eastern Province and Uva. This is not for 1 year. We will keep voting this money, and if there are results, it can even go to 2 billion a year. So let's certainly get together and make this trip where cricket and many other selected games will be brought up to international level and Sri Lanka can keep winning the game.
One person died and 2 were injured when a mound of earth collapsed in Karapitiya Gaol.
This accident happened this afternoon on a private land located about 150 meters from the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital. The mound of earth collapsed onto a group of people who were building a wall behind an unfinished 4-story building. 3 out of the 4 people working on the land were buried under the mound of earth. The police, army and the officials of the disaster management unit, along with the residents of the area, launched a rescue mission despite the ongoing risk of landslides in the area. Two people buried under the soil were rescued and the other person was found about an hour later. The individual had already died by that time. The survivors were then admitted to the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital, where the Gaul District Disaster Management Assistant Director, Colonel Ravindra Lianage, one of the injured, is critical. The deceased is a 35-year-old resident of the Upper Walpola area. The police said the injured were also residents of the same area.
Newsfirst with the people.
Under every stone lurks a politician.
There is a divide between people and politicians and politics everywhere in the world.
1.5 years ago, there was the people stood up against the entire kind of the governance sector, the president, the politicians by and large. And they wanted a system change because they took a sort of a wake-up call, at a time where they really felt it.
It's also important to recognize that people have become much more active and engaged in politics. And that culture of letting politicians and elites decide without any question is fast disappearing.
The university community, the academics and the students have been extremely active in narrowing the gap between the people and those in elitist positions.
Face the Nation, Wednesday nights at 9:30 on TV1.
Executive takes decisions. They implement. And once it fails, they try to put it on Parliament. But what you have to understand, you have to say, look at the mirror and say these things. People in this country, they know who is responsible.
Because we saw in that 2015 UMP government, there were behind the scene some sort of deals happening.
I will take the blame. I will go forward and explain the nation why we do this. And I held a media briefing and explained this in detail. We have no choice but to increase fuel prices. Otherwise, there will be
a greater crisis.
Queues. Yeah.
It's a numbers game. What they have done is a numbers game, but there is no strategy around it.
First time in Sri Lankan history. In this instance, our finance minister, the President Ranil Wickremesinghe, did not introduce a single revenue proposal in this budget.
We didn't get what we expected when it comes to curtailing corruption.
Very clearly, our alliance will lead the elections, give the direction at the next election, come what may.
Face to face,
Newsfirst political talk show, Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. on TV1.
Been undermined, that whole procurement standards, practices have not been followed.
So if you just look at the women who are earning a decent wage, it is less than 10% of the working age.
Industry where the dollars or the foreign exchange we bring in, there is a cascading effect.
Look at the revenue. So this budget is expecting almost a 45% increase in the revenue.
That it is particularly for Sri Lanka at this time. We have so little leeway.
The People's Platform.
Inflation, exchange rates and the rise and fall of the stock market. Bringing you insights into the business world. Watch the Business Buzz every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. on TV1.
Shifting your attention to international news, the Chinese government has improved visa and entry policies for foreign nationals to facilitate cross-border travel.
China yesterday said it will temporarily slash fees for inbound travel visas by 25% in a bid to draw a greater number of foreign tourists. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the measure will apply to all of China's overseas embassies and consulates from December 11, 2023 to December 31, 2024. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbing said, quote, China welcomes measures aimed at facilitating cross-border travel. We stand ready to work with relevant countries to create favorable conditions and provide greater convenience for easy cross-border travel, end quote. He said the move comes after China started managing COVID-19 with measures against Class B infectious diseases from January 8, 2023.
The United States vetoed an UN Security Council demand for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza.
The United States has vetoed a United Nations Security Council demand for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the war between Israel and Palestinian group Hamas in Gaza. 13 Security Council members voted in favor of a brief draft resolution put forward by the United Arab Emirates, while the United Kingdom abstained. The vote came after UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres made a move on Wednesday to formally warn the 15-member council of a global threat from the 2-month-long war. The US and Israel oppose a ceasefire because they believe it would only benefit Hamas. Washington instead supports pauses in fighting to protect civilians and allow the release of hostages taken by Hamas.
European Union officials have reached a provisional deal on the world's first comprehensive laws in order to regulate the use of artificial intelligence.
After 36 hours of talks, negotiators agreed rules around AI in systems like ChatGPT and facial recognition. The European Parliament will vote on the AI Act proposals early next year, but any legislation will not take effect until at least 2025. According to reports, the US, UK and China are all rushing to publish their own guidelines. The proposals include safeguards on the use of AI within the EU, as well as limitations on its adoption by law enforcement agencies. Consumers would have the right to launch complaints and fines could be imposed for violations. The EU Commissioner described the plans as historic, saying it set clear rules for the use of AI.
A look back at your local news. Painting often offers a new way for you to visualize and communicate even complex emotions and state of mind. Newsfirst Ashini Pathirana visited Art Spa by Dila, envisioned by artist Dila Veerasinghe, a place where everyone is given an opportunity to explore their artistic side through painting.
In the world of art, every brush stroke is a therapy session for the soul. Now we are here in such a place where you can fight stress with paint brushes instead of punching bags.
Art Spa by Dila, created and founded by Dila Veerasinghe 3 years ago, is a place where everyone is given an opportunity to explore their artistic side through painting. Dila believes that painting can help people calm down and deal with their emotions.
Art Spa was created post-COVID as a place where people can come and relax and unwind with color and paintbrushes and canvases. As much as everybody would like to be an artist, I think that it's a space where everyone can actually come and express themselves themselves and be their own artist and be their own creator, which is very important for the mind and soul in today's busy world.
Art Spa has become a sanctuary for artistic expression, attracting professionals from diverse fields seeking relief in the world of colors and canvases. During the weekend at Art Spa, professionals get together to bring creativity into life while also engaging in stimulating conversations.
Art Spa for me has been a space where I can completely unwind and let go of the weekly stresses. And the amazing thing is it's a really great bunch of people, very like-minded. So we really enjoy our time painting and eating and, and chatting. So it's a great experience.
So Art Spa has been something totally amazing for us, and just total relaxation coming here once a week with all the professionals here who have a lot more to do in their day-to-day life, but being one and all the same and doing what we love the most. Fantastic.
I love Art Spa by Dila. I really have been inspired over the years by her works of art. During COVID, she started all these art lessons with me through Zoom, and we found that was really hard, and then we decided that we'll meet up at her place. So we did exactly that, and then she decided to open it out to others.
Art Spa will launch its first collective exhibition, Raptures of the Mind, showcasing a diverse collection of paintings by its talented artists. The exhibition that will take place on the 16th and 17th of December in Colombo, promising a captivating journey through various themes and styles, each stroke reflecting the unique perspective of the artist. Beyond showcasing creativity, Raptures of the Mind holds a deeper purpose. A portion of the proceeds from the sale of these paintings will be donated to a worthy cause, supporting a cancer project and making a positive impact on lives.
A fundraiser, the Magical Christmas Market, celebrating local talent, creativity and culture, took place in Colombo today.
The Arcade Independence Square in Colombo has been transformed into a magical wonderland for the festive season. The Magical Christmas Market kicked off today, showcasing the talent and spirit of local entrepreneurs. Over 75 local businesses have come together to offer an array of artisanal products and curated handmade goods, perfect for unique Christmas gifts.
It's all handmade Christmas decor with eco-friendly reused items, reused recyclable items. Everything is from cardboard, ribbons and pine cones. We do all hair accessories, barrette clips, hair bows. So all these products are handmade, hand embroidered. We do all sorts of lamps and decorative items using locally sourced materials like grass, skin, timber, fabric.
The market wasn't just about shopping. It's a celebration of community spirit with live music and a DJ keeping the festive vibes high throughout the day. The family-friendly event also featured creative kids workshops, a splash zone and inflatable rides. The Magical Christmas Market will continue to spread holiday cheer throughout the weekend, open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Primetime News on TV1. For details of these stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First, where the people come first, I'm Martin Satyanesan. You take care and good night.